The Panthers routed the Dolphins 27-24 after Miami was up 17-0. Carolina Panthers come back down 17-0 in the second half and was able to win it by 3. Bryce Young having a decent game, 19 of 30, 198 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 turnovers, however, but still had a 96 QBR. Tua had a great game, 27 of 36, 256 yards, 3 touchdowns, 128 QBR. Rico Dowdle, the player of the game, player of the week, whatever you want to do, whatever you want to say, whatever award you want to give him. 23 carries, 206 yards, and a touchdown. He averaged damn near first down every single time they gave him the ball. Damn near first down. I mean, when you want to talk about dominance, it starts and ends with the Rico Dowdle. But let's talk about, did Carolina find their franchise running back? Let's talk about him. To be completely honest with you, because of that performance, they're in a tough situation. Because when you look at it, people are saying, oh, Rico Dowdle needs to be the number 1 running back. Rico Dowdle needs to get all the carries. They need to trade Chuba. They just paid Chuba last year. They just extended him last year. So it's not like they can just hand the keys to Rico Dowdle. I feel like Rico Dowdle needs to be more consistent. I think he needs to prove it more, right? I feel like Rico Dowdle was the free agent pick that the Carolina Panthers needed. It was a great pickup. I feel like he was the best running back that the Carolina Panthers could go and get to back up Chuba Hubbard if Chuba ever went down. And this was the perfect time for Rico to step up when Chuba went down. His name was called. He was going to get a boatload of carries, and he answered the call. He did exactly. He actually over-exceeded expectations of the Carolina Panthers. He over-exceeded. I don't think the game plan was to give him the ball 23 times. I generally don't think the Carolina Panthers was expecting him to get the ball 22 times. Maybe they were I feel like they were expecting him to get the ball 10 to 15 times and get Trevor Etienne in there, get him the ball maybe 5 times, 6 times, and then Bryce Young was gonna have to carry them to the finish line. That's what I thought type of game was gonna happen, and they completely flipped after Bryce Young threw the 1 interception and then fumbled and then threw the 1 interception. They completely changed the game plan. And everybody wants to say, oh, Dave Canales, he doesn't trust Bryce Young. He took the ball out of Bryce Young's hands, so Bryce didn't screw it up. Actually, no, that's not what I believe anyway. I think he took the pressure. And so many people they don't understand that Dave Canales has been protecting Bryce this entire time. He's been trying so hard to save Bryce from himself. So hard. And I give him applause. I give him so much credit for this game, calling this game. Outside of the 2 third downs that were so atrocious that he went empty on 3rd and 2 and then went empty again on 3rd. Like, I didn't get that. Outside of those 2 play calls, I feel like he called a great game. I feel like he really took the pressure off of Bryce Young. And that not only opened up their offensive playbook, but it made the receivers really, I wouldn't say they created separation, but it made the receivers get open in a way. They were feeling a little loose. They were getting a little loose. Xavier Legette made a catch that I've never seen him make before. You know what I mean? And it just opened up so much for the Carolina Panther offense that we haven't seen in a while. And so now you're looking at it like, if we can get this run game going, if we can get Bryce Young to open up, or if we can get Dave Canales to open up the playbook to make it easier for Bryce Young's ceiling goes up. Bryce Young can really play with the best of them. Bryce Young doesn't have accuracy problems. Yeah, he threw the ball. He had a missed throw. Every quarterback has a missed throw. Every quarterback has sailed the ball. Every quarterback has thrown the ball at a receiver's knees. Every quarterback throws interceptions. Every quarterback fumbles. There's going to be turnovers with Bryce Young. He's still a third-year quarterback. He's going to continue to turn the ball over. That's the thing. But this is the thing that I want Bryce Young to do. I want him to sling the football. And I want him to turn the ball over. I want him to understand the mistakes that he makes. It's better if he makes the mistakes now and learns from them early on than to make the mistakes in year 5, year 6, and year 7. And it's like, bro, come on. Like, these are the mistakes you should have been making in the first couple years. And you're making them now. Like, you should have been over this. You know what I mean? But, like, he's still so early. Like, he's only 24. He's only 24 in his 3rd season. Like, we can't get mad at him for making the sloppy mistakes that he's still, like, because he's still extremely young and developing. With a young team that's still extremely young and developing. So did I think Rico Dowdle is their franchise back? No, I think we need to see more consistent play. I think now that they have a legitimate 1-2 punch that this is on Dave Canales. This is on Dave Canales to really exploit that 1-2 punch with Chuba and with Rico. It's on him. And if we don't see that, we know who to blame. Obviously it can't be on Bryce Young. It has to be on Dave, on how to create plays. Maybe get them both in with a 2 running back set, and we don't know who they're hanging on, who they're gonna hand off the ball to, because they got 2 dominant. I wouldn't say dominant, but got 2 good running backs in the backfield that can both I wouldn't say destroy you either, but can get a good chunk of yards. Right? They're both respectable. And so do I think they found a franchise running back? Not yet, but I do think Rico is definitely putting some pressure on the coaching staff to get him the ball a lot more than expected. Bryce Young's performance. Now, like I was saying, Bryce Young, he's in his 3rd year. He's going to turn the ball over. But there's something about Bryce Young that just really is just like, you hate him and you just love the kid, because every single time that he has turned the ball over early on in the games, it's just like, what the hell, man? Like, that is just such a sloppy turnover. But then he'll come back and make the most absolute perfect dime that an MVP quarterback makes. And it's just like, Bryce, choose what type of quarterback you want to be, kid. Like, and it's just like, that's why the Carolina Panthers have not moved on from him. That's why the Carolina Panthers did not bench him. That's why the Carolina Panthers gave him another shot, because the throws that he makes, the anticipation with the throws, the type of English that he can put on the throw is MVP caliber level throws. That's not backup quarterback type throws. He has the type of confidence and he has the type of talent to be able to throw the ball with the best of them. But then his floor is just like, the mistakes that he makes is just so sloppy that it looks like, dude, he needs to be on the bench. He needs to be a backup quarterback. I never think that. I never think that he needs to be on the bench or that he needs to be a backup quarterback, because when I saw him come back last year, saw the performance, saw the type of throws that he was making, he wasn't even turning the ball over last year, but he was giving Carolina an opportunity to win each and every single time, going up against the Chiefs, going up against the Eagles, who I believe we should have won if Leggett catches that football, right? Because their offense wasn't really going. And the Chiefs, I mean, obviously the Chiefs, I feel like we wasn't gonna, but the fact that we was keeping up with the Chiefs it says a lot about Bryce Young and the Panthers fight. But it's something about Bryce, if he can get rid of those turnovers and those sloppy mistakes, he not only can be a great quarterback, but he can be an elite quarterback because of the decision making and the anticipation and the type of accuracy that he has on his throws. And this kind of reminds me of a Josh Allen type situation. Now, he's not 6'5". He's not the type of talent Josh Allen is. They're 2 completely different players. But if you look at what Buffalo was dealing with, Josh Allen was turnover prone as well early on in his career. Josh Allen was fumbling the ball. Josh Allen was throwing interceptions, heavy interceptions, making terrible mistakes. And everyone was like, whoa. Like, Josh Allen's a touchdown machine, but he's making terrible decisions. He's turning the ball over like crazy, putting his team in harm's way, putting them in terrible position. And everyone was like, oh, we don't know. They don't know if they can win with Josh Allen because he turns the ball over too much. We don't know if they can come through in the playoffs. And granted, he hasn't came through in the playoffs yet. But Josh Allen is becoming a top 3 consistent quarterback in the league next to Lamar Jackson. And you're talking about turnover to touchdown ratio. Touchdown to interception ratio. He's up there with the best of them now. And a few years ago, we were just talking about Josh Allen being one of the worst turnover quarterbacks in the game. That can be Bryce Young. That can be him. But it takes a process. It takes time. There's going to be more interceptions, Panthers fans. I'm sorry. There's going to be a lot more fumbles. Okay, I won't say a lot more, but there's going to be more fumbles. There's going to be more interceptions. He's going to continue to make these mistakes. And then it's going to click. It's going to click. And we're going to see it. It's going to be like, oh, yeah, he's found it. He's found his stride. He's found his rhythm with this team. And now it's just a takeoff from there. And it's going to be on the Carolina Panthers to continue to build around him. If they give up on him after this season, then I don't know what the hell they're doing, because that would be one of the worst mistakes. That would go on another quarterback that they just let go before even really developing him. And you can argue Baker Mayfield and Sam Darnold were already developed, and they had numerous years to figure out what type of quarterback they want to be. But Baker Mayfield and Sam Darnold are cooking right now. And last time I checked, Sam Darnold was with the Carolina Panthers. Last time I checked, Baker Mayfield was with the Carolina Panthers as well. Oh wait, they were on the same team at the same damn time. That doesn't look good. That doesn't look good at all. And if you let go of Bryce Young and he goes on and he does the exact same thing Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield are doing, what kind of questions are going to be asked in Carolina? What kind of quarterback development are y'all doing over here? Are quarterbacks going to even want to be drafted by Carolina after that? Honestly. Was not discouraged by Bryce Young's performance. I was happy that he was able to bounce back. I knew he was going to be able to bounce back. It was all about just trusting him, and I think this team trusts him. The fan base is so annoying. So many people in the fan base are annoying. They're so bipolar. They don't know what to think of Bryce Young. They want to love him. They want to hate him. They're recency bias. They're on the recency bias bull crap. So whenever he makes a turnover, whenever he forces a turnover, they're on him, like cut him, bench him, get him out of the stadium. But then when he makes a great throw, oh, we love you, Bryce. You're the best quarterback. Yeah, that's our franchise quarterback. So I'm so glad Bryce doesn't have social media and he doesn't see that. But the most important thing is the Carolina Panthers believe in him. That's the most important thing. So Bryce Young's performance is not an A, but I give it a B plus simply because he came back, he got the win, and he was able to finish strong with the 2 touchdowns. Now, biggest takeaway from the Carolina Panthers game. Dude, that defense? What is it about the defense that just... Why do they play so hard on the road? The first 3 drives, I believe the first 3 drives of the Miami Dolphins, they all scored. They got 3 points, they got a touchdown and a touchdown. After that, they could not sniff the end zone. Right. They could not sniff the end zone. I think they got 2 more touchdowns, if I'm not mistaken. No, they got 1 more touchdown. Yeah, they got 1 more touchdown because they ended up with 24 points. Yeah, it was 27-24. So they ended up with 1 more touchdown, and that was to Jalen Waddle in the 4th quarter. They couldn't get anything going prior to that. Anything going. And the defense only allowed 19 rushing yards. That's the key thing. That is why the Carolina Panthers was able to come back. It's because the clock was not ticking. The clock was not on their side because they wasn't able to run the ball. That, my friend, is the biggest takeaway. It's not even because of Rico Dowdle being able to run the ball for 200 yards. It's the defense holding Miami Dolphins to 19 rushing yards. That is the biggest takeaway that not many people are talking about. We can talk about Rico Dowdle just dominantly destroying Miami's defense, but that does not happen if Carolina Panthers defense does not hold the Miami Dolphins defense or running game to 19 yards. Does not happen at all. So that is the biggest takeaway from the Carolina Panthers. They had a terrible game on defending the pass. I still don't think they got enough pressure. They got some sacks, granted. They did. They got some sacks. I still think the pressure needs to be worked on. I still think the pressure lacks some, but I'm glad they got the dub. I'm glad they got the dub. I don't like that they came out strong. It seemed like they was able to do anything. Honestly, if they would have stuck with Darren Waller was killing in the beginning. I don't know why they went away from him. I'm confused on that part, but other than that, those first 3 drives really scared me because they just did anything that they wanted to do. And it just seemed like, what happened? Was it something that the Carolina Panthers was doing, or was it something that Miami wasn't doing? You know what I mean? So it's just like, did Miami just fall off a cliff, or like what was going on? And so I just can't get those 3 drives out of my head. But the second half was so beautiful from the defense that it was just like, I guess it's just you got to split it right in between, right? But biggest takeaway 100% is the 19 yards, because I think those 19 rushing yards was the reason the Carolina Panthers won. I generally do. I generally do, because if you cannot get that clock moving, then it seems like the second half is just going to go on forever, and that's what it felt like. 3 lead changes in the fourth quarter alone. 3 lead changes, and I think the Carolina Panthers had the ball 2 or 3 times in the third quarter, and I think they went 3 and out on a couple of them, if I'm not mistaken. 3 and out on a couple of them, and so did the Dolphins. The second half felt really long, and it's because the Dolphins cannot get their run game going, and it's because the Panthers was in like 2-minute drill. Even when they were running the ball, they were in 2-minute drill trying to get back into the game. But that's the biggest takeaway. Carolina Panthers fans, hang in there. Hang in there. I'm gonna say this, and I said this on a comment on someone's podcast. I forgot which podcast it was, but I said, do not be discouraged by the big things and by the big mistakes that you see the Carolina Panthers make, but be encouraged by the little things that you see the Carolina Panthers make. This is a young team. They have to find out who they are. They have to find their identity, and they have to build chemistry. They have to build chemistry and confidence. It's going to be a long season. They're going to get blown out again. Why? Because they're a young team. They lack veteran leadership. They lack consistent play. And that's going to happen with the young team, with the second-year head coach, with the third-year quarterback, with the rookie receiver, second-year receiver, and then Hunter Renfrow. You know what I mean? Like, they're going to lack consistency because they're a young team. That's just going to happen. So they're going to get blown out, and they're going to come back. And they're going to do some blowing out. This team is going to be all over the place. It's going to be roller coaster Carolina Panthers, man. So hang in there. And, yeah.